Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Euronurse. Glad to have you on board today. We've got a great show for you. If this is your first time catching us, be sure to check out our website at euronurse.com. Best place to go to see all of our past episodes. Also, visit our sponsors and see what's coming up in the future. And it's also got a connection to our other podcasts that you can check out, such as Euronurse News, Dr. Jeff Sex Talk, and Europatient.com. And our audio podcast, which comes out shortly after this show, available for you guys to always watch and catch. So let's tell you about our great talk today. So we're having a great special person coming in here. Jeff Abraham, leads Promescent with a bold vision to make sexual wellness more accessible. Sorry about that. I'm trying something new called a teleprompter. I'm going to try this again. So, Jeff Abraham leads Promescent with a bold vision to make sexual wellness more accessible, effective, and inclusive. After a successful career in tech recruiting, Jeff was introduced to a revolutionary new treatment for premature ejaculation by his close friend and urologist, Dr. Ronald Gilbert. Inspired by the potential to change lives, Jeff invested in the product and became the majority owner, launching what would become Promescent's flagship delay spray. Following Dr. Gilbert's unfortunate passing in 2013, Jeff relocated the company to Las Vegas and took over as CEO. Under his leadership, Promescent evolved from a company focused on a single groundbreaking solution into a full-spectrum sexual wellness brand. Today, the product line includes doctor-developed solutions for both men and women, from arousal gels and lubricants to supplemental toys, serving a wide range of health needs. With more than 4 million bottles sold and over 2,500 healthcare professionals recommending Promescent, Jeff has helped transform the company into a trusted name in sexual wellness. His direct, mission-driven approach continues to guide the brand's growth and redefine how people connect with themselves and with others. So with that, let's go ahead and bring Jeff on the show. Jeff, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Sorry for that stumble in the beginning. They added this thing called a teleprompter, but I set the speed wrong. It's all of a sudden it's just flying through. So
flying by, you had to do, speed reading.
Yeah, it was a good idea to try it, but hey, what can I say? I turned it off and finally started doing it manually, which worked better. So I guess I'm just not a newscast person yet with a teleprompter.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show. I gave you a little introduction that I received, but why don't you tell us more about you and how you got involved in this? A little bit of the story behind for everybody.
Yeah, I grew up like a lot of people did in the Eastern area or Midwest, and migrated out to California right after college. I just wanted to see warmer weather in the summer, warmer weather in the winter, and probably a little more mild summer, and was immediately taken by it, knew that I would never live in Pittsburgh again. And after 30 years in the semiconductor industry, having a very successful career, I decided to retire. So I sold my company, I retired, and thought I was going to, live out my years just enjoying life and kicking back. And my good friend, neighbor, and physician all rolled into one, Dr. Ronald Gilbert, approached me about helping him with his company. He was a working urologist, but he had developed his product on the side. One thing led to another, and I ended up investing, and I was very much involved in it. He asked me to take over, and I took over the company, became very successful. And he was unfortunately murdered in a case of mistaken identity. Someone who had a prostate surgery 23 years prior decided that I guess he was unhappy and decided he was going to murder the doctor that did his surgery. Unfortunately, he got the wrong guy and murdered the wrong person. At that point, I decided that I probably didn't want to be involved anymore. I'd been involved because of Ron, and I enjoyed working with him. But then one day when I was just kind of really down and searching the web, I decided to do a search for Ron's name. And unfortunately, everything that came up were articles about him being murdered. It was murdered, or physician tragically murdered, crazy murder, Newport Beach, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, not only did the guy take his life, he took his legacy. He's no longer a doctor, a father, a friend, a husband. He's the doctor who was murdered by the crazy guy. So I decided that the only thing I had within my power was to give him a legacy and tell people about what a truly wonderful human being he was, and also provide for his family. His family still owned 20% of the company. So I knew if I made it successful, it would help them, take one less burden away from them. Fortunately, we've been in a situation where we've been able to wildly exceed any goals or aspirations that we had initially.
Yeah. And I've been in urology for over 40 years. And one of the things, I can remember when Promescent was first introduced, and it seemed like a good idea because, there wasn't a lot out there for premature ejaculation. Some of the things that were out there were, numbing agents that would also, you have to worry about the partner getting numbed from it. So there wasn't too much out there, but it never seemed to have much headway. And then all of a sudden, but I didn't hear the whole backstory of what you were just telling about his situation. But all of a sudden, I started noticing it, and we started seeing some sales force coming into our offices. So that's kind of where you got involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the one who actually put together our sales force, medical sales force. And, you know, the gentleman who had been running the company prior to me was kind of misguided. He was like, let's do infomercials and let's, do the direct to public thing. And I believe, I just looked at how Viagra, Cialis, Levitra came to be, and I thought they got medical credibility. So when they then went to the masses, they had that medical credibility. Doctors were recommending it. Even though we were OTC, I wanted to really position the company as a pharmaceutical company, which we are. And I wanted people to know there was science behind this. Unfortunately, there's a lot, because premature ejaculation, let's make sure people listening understand, is a huge problem. It's actually as big, if not bigger, than ED. In fact, urologists will tell you that some ED is misdiagnosed PE, because someone has chronic premature ejaculation. Eventually, his body knows that getting an erection leads to an unsatisfactory conclusion, and it's like stage fright. He will develop ED because he doesn't want to get an erection. He knows he's not going to be able to please his partner. And when you said there weren't very many good products out there, that's exactly how this product was born. When Ron was a working urologist and head of urology at Hoag Hospital, if someone came to see him for ED, he had Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, Stendra, Trimix solutions. He had all these solutions. Someone came to see him with prostate issues. He had all these solutions. Someone came with incontinence. He had many different solutions. Someone came to see him with PE. Here, have this numbing agent that will allow you to last longer, but you're numb. It numbs your partner. I tell people, you might as well take a spin class or go do hot yoga. Everybody's moving, everybody's sweating, but no one's climaxing. Let's face it, the whole idea of intimacy is to eventually reach the promised land and have a climax. And that wasn't possible to a large degree with using these numbing agents. Certainly wasn't pleasurable. The other option were SSRIs. For those listening who aren't medical, like I was when I first started going to this company, someone said, people are using SSRIs. I go, what's that? They go, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. I go, I'm no closer to knowing what that was than the term SSRIs. Then people go, the depression drugs, Paxil. I go, oh, I've heard of those. Now, they actually prolong the time until you ejaculate. But they have a worse set of problems, because the majority of people using them have a loss of libido. They have dry mouth, nausea, that kind of stuff, suicidal thoughts of all things. And some people who use SSRIs can't climax. They literally make it so you can't. And someone goes, oh my God, I can pleasure my partner forever. Let me tell you something. There's nothing more frustrating than having sex indefinitely and eventually your partner's going to go, get off of me. Okay. So no one's happy with that opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, they're taking advantage of the side effect of the drug.
That's not what it's intended for.
Right. Not the intended use. It was,
and a lot of doctors are hesitant to use things off label, especially when they have really catastrophic side effects, because suicidal thoughts, depression, loss of libido. I'm like, wait a second, I think I'd rather have PE than some of these other side effects. So that's why he said there has to be something better. The only two solutions I have literally might be worse than the underlying condition.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how Promescent was born. He started doing research and said, there's got to be something that I can contribute, that I can come up with that might be better for my patients.
Yeah. So how does Promescent differ from these numbing gels?
It's very simple. I tell people it's a brilliant solution and it's light years better than anything else. But when you break it down, it's so simple. So lidocaine in its pure form is a crystal. It's like a grain of salt. So what happens is when you put regular lidocaine on, it sits on the surface of the skin. It can't penetrate the dermis or stratum corneum, so it sits there, but it does numb. Unfortunately, because it's sitting on the surface, it numbs the partner. So Ron, in association with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Tony Capamacho, who's an inorganic PhD chemist, they developed a formula that is eutectic. Eutectic means it changes the melting point of lidocaine. So when you apply Promescent, it goes subdermal. It goes below the dermis. So within 8 to 10 minutes, it is gone from the surface of your skin. It goes to the fatty tissue underneath. So it still gives you that control. It really diminishes or relinquishes the urge to want to ejaculate, but it doesn't transfer to your partner, and it gives you a higher degree of surface sensitivity because it goes subdermal. It's brilliant. It's simple, but it really addresses the drawback of what lidocaine is, which is the total numbness on your part and the transfer to your partner.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's it will prolong your ability to not ejaculate. And some people that may not understand premature ejaculation, some of these patients suffering are ejaculating it before they can even insert themselves.
That's portable ejaculation, where it's literally during foreplay.
Yeah.
And let me make sure we clear up one myth. And one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about this, one of the reasons that I made it my rest of my life's mission from age 53 when I got involved to the rest of my life, I want to be actively involved in this. There are so many misconceptions out there, and there are so many old wives' tales, and it adds to the shame. People will literally say, a guy that premature ejaculates just doesn't care about his partner. He doesn't care about his partner's pleasure. Let me get mine. Let me get through with this. He's not mentally strong enough, you know what I mean, to hold back. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. Probably 18 to 22% of people who suffer from PE might have a psychological issue that they're dealing with. But the majority, vast majority of people, whether it's hypersensitivity to penile nerves, prostatitis, low testosterone, these are physical issues, okay? And it has nothing to do with someone wanting to please his partner. In fact, having dealt with people over 15 years that suffer from this, there's nothing they want more than to please their partner. Nothing.
Right.
Okay. And that's what's really frustrating. And I'm sure you've encountered patients during your tenure as a nurse where you see that, and it's heartbreaking. And it truly does affect a man's self-esteem. It really and truly does. And his ability to feel good about himself and how he's interacting with his partner. So, and let's make one thing perfectly clear. The SMSNA, Sexual Medicine Society of North America, the International Society of Sexual Medicine, the American Urological Association, all have guidelines, and they treat PE literally as anyone who can't last more than 90 seconds during any type of sexual activity, whether it's masturbation, oral sex, vaginal sex, anal sex, or whatever. I will tell you that they should change that definition. If someone's lasting 2.5 minutes and their partner takes 8 to 10 minutes, you need something to help you bridge that gap. There's actually a term that a lot of physicians use. They call it the arousal gap or the orgasm gap, because let's step out of the world of premature ejaculation and let's just talk about the average healthy male and the average healthy partner. In a heterosexual relationship, the average healthy male lasts 5 minutes and 42 seconds during penetration and thrusting. The average female takes approximately 18 minutes of thrusting to achieve climax. That's why there's 17 trillion vibrators in the world. That's why guys stop, start, think about baseball scores. That's why everybody goes on the Master of Cunnilingus. You know what I mean? All these different coping mechanisms to narrow that gap before they even get started with intercourse, so they have a higher potential to achieve both partners having orgasm during intercourse. Now, let's make sure that everyone's goal is that we both have to have intercourse or orgasms during intercourse. Some people don't climax. A lot of females don't climax during intercourse. But that's really a nice thing when it does happen, and that's a lot of people love it. They think that's the height of intimacy when something like that occurs. So our product specifically helps bridge that gap. Our product helps couples. And to be perfectly honest with you, a lot of our products are specifically couple-based, okay? And we believe that your satisfaction should be tied into your partner's satisfaction, unless, of course, you're masturbating. Then there's only one person in the equation in that case. But
Yeah.
in the case of when you're with someone, generally you both want to have a satisfactory experience. And so we really focus on that. But we have some new products that are specifically designed for masturbation, because
Mhm.
one of the things that was surprising to me, maybe it's because of my age, I like to keep all my bullets for battle. I'm not that big into masturbation my age, because I always tell people, when you're younger, when you're in your teens, you're like a machine gun. You have unlimited ammunition. Okay, you can have 3 to 4 orgasms a night every single day.
You have unlimited energy. You have unlimited everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
And then I tell
exactly.
people, then you get into your late 20s, you're like, okay, 2 a night, Then you get in your 30s, you're like, oh, most nights for sure. And then a lot of nights, 2, maybe 3 on my birthday. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you're in your late 40s, you're like, okay, I'm no longer a machine gun, I'm a rifle. Okay. My automatic gun. Then you get your 50s, you're like, okay, now I'm a rifle, I get one shot. You get in your, I tell people, in your 60s, I'm a musket. Remember, they have those old muskets where you have to put
Yep.
the powder, you know what I mean? And I know right now, whenever I have with a partner and I'm intimate, I need a night's sleep, 3 meals, a workout, and everything else before I'm ready to go. And it's not every single day, it's maybe 4 days a week. So I know right now that I don't want to waste any bullets. You know what I mean? When I'm in a relationship, I have to save my troops for battle. It's
Yep.
like I don't want to peel off any guys that I might need later. But a lot of people that aren't, in the 60s or a lot younger, even when they're in a relationship, they still masturbate, because it feels good. And in some cases, I tell people, you learn a lot about what makes you happy, and learn a lot. You can practice even a lot of techniques in terms of delaying ejaculation, those types of things during masturbation. And it's one of the fastest growing segments in sexual wellness, or masturbatory products.
Yeah. We actually have a episode with my Sex Talk that goes on every Tuesday. This coming Tuesday night at 7 p.m., Dr. Jeff is joined by a couple of his friends, and they're going to be discussing the world of outer course. So instead of intercourse, they do outer course, which is basically mutual masturbation and things like
Yes.
that.
No, that's a fast growing area. I I know a lot of younger people that literally, this is sad, but I swear to God, they will not work in an office. They work remote. They get their groceries and all of their, uh, you know, uh, essential needs through Amazon or some delivery service. Okay.
Yeah.
They get their food from Uber Eats or, Grubhub. Okay. Everything's delivered. They literally don't leave the house even for relationships. They buy fleshlights and masturbatory, both men and women, and vibrators. I'm like, we have a lot of young people in this world that have disconnected from humanity, from society,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they never leave
Unfortunately.
the house. And I believe that's dangerous.
Yep. Yeah.
Human,
You're just not making those human connections.
yeah, to a lot of people, they're non-existent. And that's
Yeah.
why I think you get a lot of disaffected and a lot of younger people that really have trouble relating, because they've unplugged.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, talk a little bit about Promescent. How often can you use it? Are there side effects? What's your
One of
recommendations?
the beauties of the product, there really are no side effects. The only potential side effect is if you're allergic to lidocaine. It's nothing tragic. You have a little itching or burning,
Okay.
because you're allergic to light. Even then, you can still use it, but just be prepared. You'll feel like, oh, there's a little itching or burning there. There's nothing systemic about it. It literally goes through your system and out within 24 hours. We have people that use it every single day. And we did toxicity studies when we first started the company to make sure there was no
Mhm.
buildup of lidocaine. It's untraceable within 24 hours after using the product. We have a contraindications line, and we've sold over 5 million bottles. We've had probably 6 calls in 5 years to our contraindications line. Never for a medical issue. It's always, hey, can I use this for trying to get pregnant? Hey, can I use this with a condom? It's as safe as any product you will find. Lidocaine's been in existence for 70 years, used
Yeah.
in so many different products. In salon posh patches, for pain. People use it for bug bites, that type of stuff. So this product is very safe, and because it's effective, there's a huge market for it.
Now, because it's absorbed better than the typical topical lidocaines, no concerns as far as build up over time or
None, zero. It's
good.
literally trace amounts. You're using so little lidocaine that it's trace amounts to begin with, but it's completely gone from your system within 24 hours.
Great. Now you said there's other products that you're carrying now. There
Yeah, it was really funny because I wish I would say I was this genius and I had this grand plan. Here's how it started. So we were very successful. We were dominant. After we got all the medical credibility, we're in the protocol of 2,500 urologists. And you're obviously a medical professional, you know what a
yeah,
protocol is. Every single medical condition that exists, there's a protocol where they identify the disease state, what it is. They talk about the origin, the psychological, physical, what factors are involved in it. Then they generally have treatments. What do you use? So when every doctor can't be totally proficient in the thousands of, cases and different
right.
things you might see. So it goes right to the protocol. We're very proud of the fact that we're in the protocol of over 2,500 urologists that literally their LUGPA group or their practice, right in their protocol, they call out Promescent by name, where it says if you're seeing someone with PE, Promescent is this treatment. So we grew very rapidly. We had a lot of our early patients were medically based, people who have severe medical PE. And a lot of them would ask me, they go, I love your product, I trust your product, but I was lasting 30 seconds, now I'm lasting 8 or 10 minutes. I didn't need a lube, now I need a lube. Can you help me out? So I said, yeah. So we developed an organic aloe vera lube that became very, very popular. And so that was our second product, and things went really well. And again, continuing down that same line, I wish I could say I was a genius, I developed this, but one of the doctors we worked with very closely, I was at SMSNA, which is Sexual Medicine Society in North America, in 2019 in San Antonio. He says, yeah, you look really tired, run down. I said, man, the company's really growing. I can't hire people fast enough. He said, hey, I want to give you this combo of things we developed that, a lot of my patients are taking, they really love. And it was L-arginine, L-carnitine, L-citrulline, zinc, and magnesium. And I tried it, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much better. My energy level, this is really helping. And then I was in a relationship at the time, and like 2 weeks later, my girlfriend said to me, are you taking some ED medications? I'm like, no, why? I would tell you, She goes, we've been intimate like 12 days in a row. And I'm like, yeah, we kind of have. And I thought about it, and I go, that waxes and wanes. Maybe my hormones are high for some reason, blah, 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 blah. A week later, I'm like, this isn't waning. It's still waxing. You know what I mean? Like, so I called him, and I said, hey, is there any relations this help with? He goes, I'm a doctor of sexual medicine. Are you kidding me? I said, well, you told me to give me more energy. He says, that's one of the side effects. He said, but it really helps with, libido and, better erections. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So I started thinking about it, and I asked him, I said, hey, would you mind if we commercialize this? He goes, no, let's do it together. So we commercialized the product, and it was an immediate hit. And people that are concerned about premature ejaculation are just trying to perform better in bed. It's the natural audience to have another product that helps with erectile function. And the funny part is, one of my neighbors is an advocate of everything we sell. He loves it. So he started using the product. And he's like, what's this new product? I see VitaFlux. I said, well, it's a nitric oxide supplement, which helps with arousal and erectile function. 2 weeks later, he calls me. He goes, I need something for my wife. I go, what? He goes, yeah, if you don't find something for wife, he goes, I'm going to bring our maid into our relationship. He goes, my arousal, and he goes, my libido is through the roof, and my wife isn't matching. He was close to my age. That's 5 years ago. I think he's a year younger me, so he must have been 62. So I called the same doctor who helped us invent VitaFlux, and I said, hey, do you have anything for women? He starts laughing. He goes, yeah, VitaFlux. I go, what? He goes, that's the same effect on women that it does on men. And I go, what? He goes, yeah. And he goes, for me, the CEO of a sexual wellness company, I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm a businessman. I don't know these things, And so I gave the guy the advice. I said, hey, give your wife some. And one thing I will tell you, most men, if they find something that makes them better in bed, if it gives them an edge, the first thing they do is go, I don't want anyone else to have this. Every man on planet Earth wants to be the biggest, brightest rooster in the hen house. He wants to go impregnate all the other hens. But you give a woman something that helps her sexually. Oh my God, she's on Pinterest. She's on Reddit. She's telling every friend of hers they're going to lunch. Oh my God, my orgasms are more intense. They're more frequent, And that product took off immediately among women. And we would get, because we have something called Zig Poll on our website when someone buys product. How'd you find it? And about 18% of people fill it. Women were like, oh, my best friend told me. Oh my God, we had lunch. My friend. I'm like, I should have started this company with women. All you got to do is find one woman in every city. They will take it from there, okay? They will make sure all their friends know how good their orgasms are. But let me tell you how the product works, because it's absolutely incredible.
So you got to remember Tupperware, how that spread.
But this product, VitaFlux, is for both men and women. So every vein and artery in our body has an epithelial layer. And the epithelial layer, the whole purpose of it is, it's twofold. It's to prevent bad things, viruses and bacteria getting into your bloodstream, and allow the absorption of hormones, vitamins, and minerals. So when you're young, it's very supple, and it does both extremely well. When you start reaching your mid-30s, okay, that begins to harden. When it hardens, it gets even better at keeping bad stuff out, bacteria, viruses. Unfortunately, it gets good at keeping good stuff out. So your hormone levels drop. You don't absorb vitamins and minerals as great. That's why most men from the mid-30s and women to the early 40s begin to gain 0.5% of body fat every year and lose 0.5% of lean muscle. Also, your arousal goes down because your hormone levels aren't as good. With women, they have all those same effects: weight gain, muscle loss of libido, that type of stuff. But they also lose the ability to naturally moisturize. So they have a lot of vaginal dryness. Then menopause exacerbates that. We have hundreds of women that are using VitaFlux specifically because it gave them the ability to moisturize again after losing that ability. So for people in their mid-30s on, VitaFlux is a tremendous supplement. I remember people go, "You're a genius." I'm like, no, somebody gave it to me. And I started using it and go, what is this? Okay. And why am I having all these great side effects? But it also, because it increases blood flow. That's what nitric oxide supplements do. It decreases blood pressure. So I know people that got off of their blood medication by using VitaFlux because it lowered the blood pressure naturally without the side effects of that. It also increases, because it increases blood flow, it increases libido. It gives you, now, if you are impotent, it's not going to make you some raging stallion like Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, anything like that. But it will improve erectile function by about 4 or 5%. In men, it increases libido in both men and women, because anytime you have increased blood flow in the genitals, you're going to feel aroused, okay? So it is a world beater of a product. And I remember when I introduced that product, a lot of people go, well, you're not going to have success with that because you're a gel and lube company and supplement company, and believe it or not, that thing took off. And one of the things that I like to do whenever we introduce a new product, I will send out the first 100 people that buy the new product. I'll send out an email, because when they buy it from our site, we have all their contact information, and say, hey, I'm just curious, what gave you the confidence to buy the supplements from us? Because we've had basically gels and lubes, prior. And it was incredible because everyone said the same thing. If it's on this site, I know it's top quality and I know you stand behind it 100%. I'm like, oh. So then I was like, I think I have a formula here. So we need to keep our eyes and ears open, talk to our customers. And we got to a point, once we had VitaFlux, we had lubes, we had the delay spray, a lot of people would say to us, I don't want to have to go somewhere else and buy my condoms. I don't want to have to go somewhere else and buy my vibrators. I don't want to have to do this and this. So I said, we have to start adding products, because we want to be the one-stop shop for all your sexual wellness.
You had brand recognition.
Brand recognition, and that's key to any successful business. So I have this mantra that to this day we follow exclusively. We look at new areas that our customers tell us, hey, I want to buy something from you in this area. And when people ask me how many products are going to introduce next year, and I tell them somewhere between 0 and 5 to 6, they go, that's not right. You should have a goal. You should have 4, 5, 3, whatever it is. And I said, listen, let me tell you why I don't have that mantra of I'm going to do 3, I'm going to do 4. I said, my goal is, if we can find an area that we can introduce a product that is as good, if not better, than everything else in that space, we'll introduce that product. We would never do one of those Me Too, ho-hum products, because then we'll lose that ability, which is our success is based on, where if it's on this site, it's as good or better than everything else in that segment, and we stand behind it 100%. Every product we sell has 100% money back guarantee. Okay. And we're proud of that. And, it's important that people have that confidence in us that if they have a
Yeah.
desire and I go, I want to try this product, they know that we've researched it. And just for your information, I've tried every product that we have. I think it's important that I have firsthand knowledge. I make sure all of our employees, so they can speak confidently about our products, and we buy competitive products. We try those. We need to know our inherent advantages, those types of things. So we do our research. Every product that we sell, we know is as good, if not better, than everything else in that space. But we have
Yeah.
our core products like VitaFlux and our delay sprays and some of our female arousal gels that they're clearly better than the other products that exist in that space. And our other products, a lot of lubes, people will tell you, oh my God, this is the best lube ever. Let's be honest. There's only a certain amount you can do with lubes. They're slippery, okay? Some of them are 98%, 97%, but there's no lube that's head and shoulders above everything. That's a joke. It's all marketing. It's part of
Sure.
the what you need to have to build out a complete product line. But we're proud of that. So when I tell people we're going to introduce between 0 and 6, because if I find 6 products that are all clearly as good, if not better, we'll introduce all 6. If I don't, we'll introduce 0. I'm not going to put some marginal product out there. Because we've become synonymous with growth and success in the space, we have people to contact us and literally say, I'm an inventor, I've done this, I've done that. I don't really have the expertise. Would you take our product and deliver it to the masses?
Yep.
And we evaluate it. If I think it's as good, if not better, then we'll incorporate it into our line and be their distribution arm. If
Right.
not, I will say no.
You don't want to ever dilute your.
We never dilute that quality, that standard, that everything here is top notch. And I've had people literally that got mad at me and said, hey, there's a big, opening right now. It may not be that good of a product, but there's a lot of searches for it. People love it. I go, I don't think you understand. I'm not going to ruin the reputation that we've developed.
Yep.
I don't care if you sell 1 million units of your product in a year. If it turns off my customer base and it looks like it was a money grab or just taking advantage of an opportunity, I will never do that. I don't care. We're in this for the long term. We've had slow, steady, sustained growth.
Yeah.
I want to continue that. And I want people to have that confidence and trust in us that they have.
I'm going to move into a question we got from the audience. I think this is a good time to bring this up. Does the product require prescription, and can it be obtained through compounding pharmacies? So we know a lot of these drugs nowadays, people are going to compounding pharmacies because they can get the same mixtures. So number one, prescription?
No, it's over the counter, which is great. And I tell people you can get it. It's the number 1 best-selling sexual enhancement product on Amazon. It's on our website. Our delay spray is in Target, Walmart, CVS. You're probably familiar with Meyer. It's in the Rust Belt states. It's available at HEB in Texas. So we're available, Wegmans back east, and it's available almost everywhere. That's the delay spray. But I always tell people, if you're going to buy our product, we don't care where you get it. We're set up as a company that wherever you find it, it works for you. But start at our website. There's physician testimonials. There's there's videos on how to use products, how to properly use products. Because the one thing is, even though I'm comfortable, buy it wherever you're convenient. It's convenient for you. We want people to use it correctly and dose it correctly, so you have the highest probability of having a good solution. Being in the urological community, you can have a great product and someone isn't familiar on how to use it, whether it's a vacuum device or a premature ejaculation solution or ED medications. If they're taking the wrong dose and they're not using it, as prescribed a certain amount of time prior to intimacy, that they're not going to have the best result. So we always tell people, start at Promescent.com. It's Promescent, Promescent.com. Go there and educate yourself so you're buying the right product for the right reason, and just as importantly, dosing it and using it correctly. So that's where you start. Where you end up buying it is up to you, okay? Or if you end up buying it, if you find out after doing research one of our products isn't for you, then don't buy it. We want successful, happy people that are using these products, so there's a higher likelihood of you sharing it with your friend and being a continued user. We've been successful. Now, we introduced a line of
Not much competition from compounding pharmacies?
No, because we're patented. And it's a very complex manufacturing process. So, number one, they would have difficulty in doing it.
Gotcha.
And if you're a compounding pharmacy, to go through all those things of breaking it down and trying to re-engineer it, you don't have nationwide distribution generally. If you're a compounding pharmacy, you have a local doctors you work with. Number one, it would be illegal because it would violate our patent. And number two, you would have trouble scaling up against a product that's already existing and readily available in every local drugstore, on Amazon, that type of stuff. So we have a couple compounding pharmacies that actually carry our product, but they don't make it, they carry it.
Gotcha.
They have doctors and some people that go to them. So one of the things that I really am proud of, we have a store finder on our website. So if you want to get it at retail, you go to the website, you type in your zip code, and you can go 20 miles, 30 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles. It will show you every location that you can buy the product within a certain geographical distance of our website, or your home, I should say.
All right, I got another question for you. You've grown Promescent into a global name in sexual wellness. What core values guide your leadership and your company's mission today?
I would say that the core values are hard work, ethical behavior, and keeping the focus on our customers or patients, whatever you want to refer to them as. Number one, we've been lean and mean, and we have great employees who work very, very hard. Number two, we're very ethical. Like I said, I don't care if someone comes up with a product, you could sell 1 million of these, they're kind of marginal, but just think of the revenue you make, don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
I developed this company in memory of Dr. Ronald Gilbert, who was my partner, and he was a urologist who truly wanted to help people. And we're, unlike most companies, we're urologically based. We have an advisory board. And my doctors who recommend our products and really put us on the map would be very upset if we put marginal products or anything that wasn't really medically grade certified on our site. So we continue to do that. Number two, we stress that we're all about making you better in bed, increasing your level of satisfaction, your partner's level of satisfaction, or if you're masturbating, your own satisfaction with some of our products. And that's why we developed all these vibrators, because we found so many people that, even if they're in relationships, masturbate frequently just to kind of feel in touch with themselves. So our product, we've never preached this is who you should have sex with. We've never preached, like this is bad, that's good. We're totally apolitical. We're totally, when it comes to religion, whatever God you pray to is your business. Whatever your views on sexuality are your business. What we do is we try to say, if you want to have better intimacy, then we have a lot of products for you. If you want to have a smoother experience, then try our lubes. If you want to last longer, try our delay spray. If you want to have a higher degree of arousal, try our VitaFlux. If you want to, experiment with mutual masturbation or on your own, try our vibrators. So what we do is we're a solutions-based company, and we try to listen to our customer base, find out what is not currently in the market or people need a better answer, and we try to develop those. But we will never go on record as saying this is the type of sex you should have. This is the type. That's not our business. Our business is to provide solutions and then let you live and let live. Let you decide how you want to have your intimacy. We're just there if you want to have smoother, more vigorous, maybe some self-play, whatever you're into, you go to our website, there's something there for you to investigate. But everything we do, as long as I run this company, will be long-term and focused on quality products and ethical behavior.
So in urology, we deal with what I call closet diseases, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation. And even years ago, there was this thing called overactive bladder, which was considered a closet disease. People didn't talk about the fact that they would get an urge to urinate and couldn't control it and would be wetting themselves. And then a company came along and developed a pill. But more than that, they came up with the name OAB. That was developed by the drug company, Pfizer, who put out the pill Detrol. And they came up with a strategy of gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. And it kind of took what I think, was a disease that was a closet disease and brought it to the forefront and really drove a lot of patients to come into the office. And no longer were they so stigmatized by it that they came in and talked about it openly and started seeking treatment. So what challenges now in sexual medicine, it's even harder because that's really people's private life. What strategies do you do to get your name out there and become more household?
You're going to laugh when I tell you it's exactly what we're doing right now. if we run banner ads, if we do a 30-second commercial, people don't hear the message. They don't understand what makes Promescent different, that we're a eutectic formula. You can't put that, do the explanation about how we
Mhm.
change the melting point of lidocaine, from a solid to an or aqueous product and allow it to, go subdermal. So these are exactly the types of situations that we love, where someone who's passionate and intelligent and information based, where we have podcasts or blogs, or we have situations you can go in long form and explain how we came to be and what
Yeah.
our mission is. And we were developed by urologists. We have urologists on our board. That this is science. I wish I could say I'm kidding, but if you look up premature ejaculation treatments, there's 300 of them. 280 are bogus. They're absolutely just preying on people who have major issues. Some of them, I swear to God, they have no medical efficacy whatsoever. I wish I was kidding, but when you do that search, you'll find bull testicle derivative, deer horn, and you're like, what, shark fin? Like, what in the? But it shows you how people are desperate, and a lot of people are embarrassed. They don't go to a doctor. They just scroll the internet and try to find something that they can get to
Absolutely.
help them. And that's frustrating because you don't want to be put into that bucket. You know what I mean? Of all these guys have, and I can't tell you how many people that buy our products, especially initially our delay spray, would go, do you know how close I came to not pulling the trigger? It wasn't even the $22.95 for the travel size or the trial size we had. It was because I just, the hurt and disappointment of going, it's another bogus failed product. And so it's really
Yeah.
important for us to have this vehicle, this platform we're currently on, where we can explain who we are, what we do, and why we're different, and the science behind who we are, and let people know we've sold 5 million bottles. The majority of those are to repeat customers. That's why we grow every year, because as long as we get new people into the tent, we're going to grow, because the majority of people, if you're lasting 30 seconds and you go to 8 minutes during intercourse, do you really want your partner to say to you a week later, who's climbing into bed with me? Is it Mr. 30 seconds or Mr. 8 minutes today? You know what I mean? If you go from 30 seconds to 8 minutes, you want to be Mr. 8 minutes from that point going forward, not Mr. 30 seconds again. So one of the reasons for our growth and the reasons why we've been successful in retail and everything else is this repeat business that we get once we get people to try our products. We've had certain people that have tried our products and say, your product got me over the hump. I literally had PE for a long period of time. I had prematurely ejaculated for so long, I lost that ability to even feel that point of inevitability. So we've had people use our product and train themselves because they last longer. Then all of a sudden they go, oh, there's that feeling. It used to happen so quickly. I didn't have time to even, and they start doing Kegels and stuff. They start training themselves, and they use a combination of some physiological and some psychological and muscle control. And they eventually wean themselves off. They either go from 8 sprays to 6 sprays to 5, eventually down to 1, or all together. And people go, why do you bring that up? Do you really want people? I said, there's nothing makes me happier than people start using less of our product and still have satisfactory intercourse, or they wean themselves off of our product altogether. That's one of the reasons why I think it's great that we have a multitude of products, because if we can help you in certain areas and you don't need the product anymore, we still have other solutions, because there's no way to substitute for a vibrator that you love, or some VitaFlux, which things like that. And even if the universe for these products are so great that even if the majority of people that used our products didn't need to use them anymore, there's still so many new people that need the product that I'd be very happy that if the majority of our people were so happy that they ended up not using it, there's just so many more people that have these issues, would always have a very robust customer base to recruit from.
Yeah. So that's one of, I think, the success points of the podcast is people are open to getting education through the internet. Like you said, they're actually seeking it out and having good quality education, which is what Euronurse was behind, and Europatient too.
Well, think
And
about
now,
it. They're here
yeah,
anonymously. They're being educated. They can ask questions. Because I know that a lot of urologists, when I first got into this business, would say, we're having this class at, in our office at night for people who have premature ejaculation. We just can't get good attendance. I go, duh. Think about it. To attend the class, you have to identify yourself as a premature ejaculator, and a lot of people don't want to go into that setting and stand up and ask a question. There are some that will, but not very many. When I first broke us into retail. Our first two retail, well, the first one was Target and then Walmart. And I remember I was so proud. I'd go into the store just to see our product on shelf, and I had a lot of pride. There we are, right in the thing, and
Yeah.
next to Trojan condoms, blah blah blah. And I remember any other aisle that you went to, you'd see people standing there, whether it was deodorant or mouthwash or whatever. People would be standing there and pick up a product and look at it, put it back, another product. And I used to tell people, I called it the snatch and grab. People in the sexual wellness aisle stand 4 or 5 feet back. They kind of scan the thing. They take their phone. They look. And I swear to God, this guy, they'd walk up, boom, grab it, put it in a box, walk up, and then check out and go away. Called it the snatch and grab. People don't want to be standing there holding sexual wellness products and evaluating them. No matter how we talk about, we live in a more open society, sex is more this, more, there's still puritanical thought processes. There's still a lot of people,
Yep.
their ego is involved. And it's like, and I've never really understood it. Maybe I'm just wired a little differently because I have adult onset diabetes and I suffer from lupus. So I'm very open about that, and I try to maintain my health as good as possible. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I exercise every day, I eat right, I do all these things. And I say to myself, it's like we talked about earlier, there are, 4 to 5 physiological reasons why a man would rapidly or prematurely ejaculate. There's still all this shame involved. If someone has cancer, no one looks down upon you for having chemotherapy. If someone has diabetes, no one looks at themselves less than for taking insulin. Why, if you need something to help you get over the hump from a sexual standpoint, is it so egregious and so shame-ridden that, oh my God, I don't want anyone to know? We used to have this running joke in the company that if every time this happened would have $1, would have $100, and we had to change it to 1,000. I think we're up to 10,000 now. You'll be in a setting, whether it be a party or a conference or whatever, and someone will come up to you and go, hey, you're one of my neighbors. You live at 82 Sunglow. I go, yeah, I do. I was at a barbecue. This is an actual story. The guy comes up and goes, what do you do for a living? I go, I'm the CEO of a pharma company. Oh, is it a big one? I go, no, it's a small OTC pharma company. We're really dynamic. What's the name of the company? I go, name of the company is Absorption Pharmaceuticals, but our products are called Promescent. Oh, what are they? And I go, our initial product was a treatment for premature ejaculation. It was him and his wife and myself right down the street from my home. The chest puffs out. He's like, it's the last thing we need in this relationship. Oh, excuse me. Okay. 15 minutes later, he goes to the food truck. They had a band in this food truck and everything. The wife comes over. She goes, we could use some of that. Do you have a sample you can give me? I said, yeah, what's your house number? I'll drop it in the mailbox. You know what I mean? It is insane how often that happens. Or I'll be in a setting with friends. We'll be at a hockey game or, football game, whatever. Hey, what's the name of that company? I tell them. Everyone's like, is that really an issue? I didn't even know that was an issue. And I'm like, 75% of men at some point in their life experience premature ejaculation. Okay, what do you mean? And then later, the exact same, I didn't know that. Go, I have that issue. Can you help me out? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So it's something that people don't even want to acknowledge. And we developed that a lot of medical professionals, we have these wall clings that are in the office, that when you're in, everyone knows they're in a patient room waiting for the doctor to come in, and you start looking around. Sometimes there's pamphlets, sometimes these things on the wall that talk about disease states that are common in that, whatever it is, whether you're an endocrinologist or urologist or whatever. So we developed, there were a couple doctors, Dr. Larry Lipschultz, who's the godfather of sexual medicine. They say, hey, develop these wall claims. Yep. Okay, great. So we developed them, and doctors tell me, I come in the room, the guy's his phone, and he's taking a picture of the URL code on the Promescent thing because he wants to do it, and he most likely wouldn't be comfortable enough to even discuss it with the doctor. And a lot of doctors have told me that ED and PE were kind of the, oh, by the way, that have their exam, and the doctor be leaving, have his hand
as you're walking out the door.
I'm ejaculating too early. Like, they had to build up the courage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To actually bring that out.
Yep.
And I want to get to a point where people understand this isn't something you should be ashamed about. Almost everybody experiences this at some point in their life, okay? Be open. The information and communication is the key to solving any issue. And you're not going to solve something you're uncomfortable or unable to talk about. And so what we're trying to do is normalize the talk, is to let people know that a lot of people have these issues and a lot of people are seeking help. You are not alone. Don't
Yeah.
be embarrassed. Don't be shy. And one of the things that really blew me away is how many people would go, well, my partner know I'm using this. I don't want my partner to know. I don't. And I always ask them, I'm just curious, if you're close enough to be someone to be intimate with them, you need to be upfront. This is a common thing. And your partner might be a lot more accepting. You realize, especially if you frame it, I want the best for you. I want to be the best lover I can be for you. I want to last longer for you. I don't think they're going to be put off. I think they'll give you points for saying, I'm really glad you're thinking about my pleasure too. Plus, I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I was intimate with someone who was using a product that might affect me if I had an allergy to lidocaine without someone telling me, you know?
Right.
And so what we're trying to do is educate people. I know I've developed some videos that we're going to be posting on our website about our vibrators, because a lot of men, and it blows me away, feel like if they introduce a vibrator in a relationship, or if they know their partner wants to introduce a vibrator into the relationship, they feel like that's a condemnation on them, like they're not the greatest lover in the world. I tell people, check your ego at the door, okay? If you're using a vibrator, it's in addition to, not in place of you, okay?
Right.
And a lot of women during intercourse sometimes cannot climax without direct clitoral stimulation. Just the way the anatomy set up, it's hard to have direct clitoral stimulation during intercourse.
Yeah.
So having a woman with a bullet vibrator or a magic wand or something to directly stimulate the clitoris during sexual intercourse is going to increase her arousal and give her a higher chance of orgasm. So I tell men, check your ego at the door. It's not replacing you. It's in addition to you. It's to take your lovemaking to a higher level.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I think that, one of the things that we try to do here is strive is just to make this not such a taboo subject, not that people need to be embarrassed about. And I'll leave you with a quick story that personal story of mine is my mom was always very proud of what I did for a living. And we were on a cruise and they said, they're looking for somebody with an unusual profession. And she says, well, you put your hands in. You got to tell them that you're a urology nurse and you treat erectile dysfunction. I said, are you kidding? I'll never get any rest on this cruise. I'll have people coming up to me constantly asking me what to do.
Be a line and we'll follow you around wherever you went.
Exactly. So I think it's once it's out there and people know what you do or know that there's treatments such as your company with Promescent. Once you know there's a cure out there, it'll have its way of becoming more commonplace. And that's what we want to do. Is there's no reason for people to be ashamed that they've got a problem. Like you said, most people aren't going to say, oh, I got diabetes, I'm so ashamed. But premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, you are. And we need to change that to a treatment, not a something you're ashamed of.
I'll tell you something else that blew me away. I used to have, I did a bunch of serious radio podcasts and some podcasts or shows and some podcasts that had caller ID or ability to ask questions. How many women suffer when a man has premature ejaculation? They suffer in silence because if they don't think there's something that addresses it out there, they're not going to bring it up and have a man even focus and get more into his own head and go, oh my God, now even she's affected. I think subconsciously they know it, but we have a lot of our purchases that are driven by women who hear a podcast and say, hey, hon, let's try this. It's good. And a lot of them would call in and say, how do I bring this up without hurting my husband's ego, without making him defensive? So I would tell people, suggest a 50 Shades of Grey night. Get a feather duster and a blindfold and a little whip, you know what I mean? And then have 4 or 5 things and have Promescent in addition to that and say, hey, we have this special fantasy night. I want to make sure it goes a little longer. And I tell women, give a man more control and you'll never have to give him a suggestion again. Men love control. Men love to be in control.
Yep.
If your dynamic when it comes to intercourse changes from, oh my God, I hope I can last long enough so she has an orgasm, to do I want to give her 1 or 2 orgasms before I finish? There's no man in the world that won't want that equation as opposed to other. So I tell people, get a fantasy night together. Make it one of many things that you introduce so it's not personal. You're not lasting long enough. Because if you do that, he's going to get more in his hand. He's going to be more aware of the issue. So you
doesn't want to be a challenge. It should be something that can work,
you want to just
do
it
the couple
organically and naturally. But if a man finds something that gives him more control, you're never going to have to suggest it again.
Yep. Well, it's great, Jeff. It's a great conversation. I'm going to kick it off to what's going to come up for next week now.
Managing urinary health just got easier. ProudP is a powerful app that combines uroflow monitoring and avoiding diarrhea into a single, easy-to-use tool, all from the comfort of your smartphone. Whether you're a patient tracking symptoms at home or a healthcare professional monitoring remotely, ProudP makes it simple to gather accurate, real-time data to improve urology care and outcomes. This episode of Uro Nurse is hosted by Vic Senese and presented by Alex Hughes. We dive into how ProudP empowers patients and clinicians alike, reduces office visits, and enhances communication between patients and their urology teams. Discover how digital tools are transforming bladder health monitoring for better, faster, and more personalized care. Track uroflow measurements anytime, anywhere. Maintain a detailed voiding diary without paper hassles. Share data securely with your healthcare provider. Join us on October 25th at 9 a.m. to learn more.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what these little things that we carry in our pockets are capable of doing. And this one blew me away. I'm anxious for next week's talk because it's able to track the speed of urination, what we call uroflow, by just listening to your urination with the phone. I'm got to.
Remember, you had to go into the doctor's office. They put you in disturbed. You had to urinate in a thing, and that's
exactly that embarrassing test. You can do it yourself at home. This is going to be a game changer.
This is that Aura ring. I use every possible. My health is the most important thing because I do suffer from lupus, diabetes. So I monitor everything. It's only information that can help me. And then my concierge doc actually knows how to log in and check my sleep, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. So I'm all for that. I tell you, I can't tell you how much I appreciated being on the show. This is the exact form I love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, just hang on for a second. I'm going to just close out the show and I'll come back and we'll have a few last closing statements together. But hey, we'll see everybody next week on Uro Nurse.
And a head full of dreams.